We have two great guests with us today, Anna Marie Pucher, CEO of ICIS Papyrus Software, and she is joined by Rob Brown, Senior Manager of Product Quality Assurance at ICIS Papyrus. Anna Marie and Rob, welcome to the program. Now, we are here to talk about empowering our business with a business-first approach. And Anna Marie, I'd like to start with you, if I may. What do you mean by a business-first approach, and how do you folks define that?
Well, Kevin, the recent years have been really quite challenging, for many companies to really be agile enough, for all the requests they got from the clients being demanding, self-service needs, digitization, more channels than ever before. So this put companies in a lot of extra work, which they didn't even have the resources for, or maybe they didn't have the strategy for doing. So at the end, basically a lot of those requests were batched on the front end and not integrated with the back end. And so you are missing basically an end-to-end solution here, which is a real challenge for a great customer experience. So these disconnected experiences now would need to be tackled, across customer experience, the employee experience, and also the operational experience, really, to overcome those challenges, really.
Right. Yeah.
So Rob, tell us a little bit more. What is your strategy at ICIS Papyrus for helping organizations achieve a business-first approach?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. I was so excited to tell you then. I almost jumped the gun and I was before your question. So, leading on from what Anna Marie is saying there, this kind of customer-focused approach that a lot of our customers are really targeting requires a lot more agility. So they need to be able to react to these ever-changing consumer and customer trends in their business. And we could never have predicted, of course, the last few years and the events that took place, and I don't think anyone could. But fortunately, we're already walking that path towards agility, business agility. So we've already been focusing on tools which provide our customers with the ability to empower their own business to make their changes in their application and in their business value streams without the reliance on third parties. So we don't want to have to outsource this. We want to try to bring the power back into the business teams and give these people the right tools at the right time to be able to react in a much more agile way. And when you've got that in place, you can then very easily react to these customer-focused trends that we're talking about.
Well, agility and a customer focused approach is so critical today. Can you give us an example, a little deeper of what you mean? What are some of the tools that you're empowering organizations with that really hit to that customer first approach?
Yeah, one in particular is the Papyrus Business Designer. So that's something that I can talk about forever. But this is a product where we really try to allow the business teams to make changes at process level, at business rule level, at UI design, at form design, and to really give them the power to make changes in their value stream without then affecting the surrounding systems and without needing this huge suite of IT skills and coding, which was something that always held us back so often in the previous years.
Well, I think the innovation really needs to be for customers and for employees.
Right.
So a total experience at the end, including customer experience and operational experience and even employee experience, and overcome those fragmented processes, align business process with business outcome, really. Like Rob says, choose a platform, choose a tool, the business designer tool that already gives you basically those unified experience of process, document template design, process design rules, and also content services design. And from there, basically, you focus on the innovation that would connect the high moments of truth between customers and employees. This is how we see it.
Mm.
So is this a low code approach?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Tell
low
me more
code.
about how that works.
So I mean that term is used a lot, right? And we've heard that a lot over the last 10 years, low code, no code, and it means different things to different people. But
Right.
in this reality, what we're trying to do is isolate the pieces that are changed the most. So what are the areas that your businesses or our customers' businesses like to change the most, need to change the most? Is it content communication? Is it coming from their CCM side? Is it coming from their process side and their business logic? Is it on the channels that they're using? So we tried to pick out those areas and isolate them in a UI and a library feature set, which allows them to make those changes themselves without having to, write code on interfaces and build things at C++ level. They can make those changes and they can deploy those changes as well. You need both of those aspects, so the capability to make a change and the capability to activate it. And that's something we've been focused on for quite a long time. And we're starting to see some maturity in those products now. And they're really hitting the ground running, especially when we're seeing this trend towards a customer-focused approach.
Or employee-focused,
right?
Right?
Yeah.
Because the tool really empowers the employee at the end. And it is very important because if you give better tools to the employee, they are more productive, they are more efficient, they stay longer in the company, and so the customer experience is largely improved by that, and the total experience as well, of course, because customer and employee journeys really, they are simultaneously and they connect tightly with the operational side. So for example, when you think of a contract, for example, the business creates the contract, a sales contract, for example. So this is the business or employee experience. And then it goes to legal. And legal reviews it, edits it, maybe signs it off. And this is really operational experience. And at the end, it goes to the customer for signing. So there is the customer experience again. So, we see that this goes together. All of it, is a complete experience that you need a contract lifecycle management.
Yeah.
We would call this as a solution that we provide as well.
Absolutely. I think that's a good point. And, in my experience, as I spend a lot of time with our customers trying to understand what are their goals, and what's their strategy and how can we translate that into Papyrus to solve those challenges. They're not immediately saying, hey, I want my customer experience to be the best. A lot of the time, these departments are also saying, hey, my job's pretty hard. How can you make my life easier? I've got these goals and I've got to sweat all week to get there. What can you do? What can you provide me to get to those goals easier, to make me getting into the office being a bit of a smoother process?
Interesting. You've both mentioned employees as customers. It's a customer focus for external customers, but also internal customers, making their job easier, making their job more effective, keeping our employees more happy. Anna Marie, why is this so important today?
Well, because it's really so important for the customer experience, these high moments of truth. If you think of, let's say, a support request incoming from the customer, and then, the truth is what happens, how well do we react to that request, to that ticket that has been opened? How well do we respond? How qualified is the response? And how quick can we solve the problem? So all those are really high moments of truth in the customer experience and employee experience. So I think we need to look at the total experience, really.
Moments of truth. What do you mean by that?
Well, the moments when you communicate, when you solve a problem, when you react to a request, when you have this interactivity with the client, where the user needs to be empowered and needs to know what to do and needs to have the tools to do it fast and correctly. And the customer will, enjoy what he gets as a quality of interaction.
Right.
There are many moments of truth in this process.
And Rob, what are the impacts of all of this? What are the things that manifest itself in the way that my organization performs?
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of impacts there, and you know, when I think about that from a more practical sense, our customers are trying to serve their consumers in this ever-changing world of innovation, particularly in communication and technology. You know, so the phone in my pocket has changed, you know, the way that we interact with each other over the last 10 years or so. And it started off on the social side with your friends and your family and social media. But that's now leaking over into our business engagements and our business communications. And as Anna-Marie said, that's definitely in the workplace already. So how we interact with each other, how we can collaborate with each other on pieces of work. But more and more into the in focus is then how we communicate with our customers, and as customers, how we communicate to the business interests that we have. So people are looking for that innovation to be available. So I'm talking about the different channels that they can communicate on, the transparency that you get, you know, the access to the data that we have now is phenomenal. And when we have access to it, has completely revolutionized how businesses need to behave. And I mean, just right now, just today, before we came to talk to you, Kevin, I'm talking with one of our customers in the UK, a big pension fund provider, and they've just built a self-service portal with Papyrus, and we're just about to go live. So I'm super excited about that. And that was really driven by this customer trend. You know, these customers don't want to go and sit in and make an appointment and visit the branches anymore. They want that information immediately. So they need access to their policy information. They need access to features that they have, like switching funds around, or you know, to have access to all their documents, their critical documents, to send messages, requests to the back office teams. And they didn't have that before. So this customer of ours has reacted to that change, and together then we've built this platform which serves those needs, you know, and that's operating on the web. We've got that in mobile, and they've got all these different technologies, email and SMS. And, you know, that's what I'm talking about with these innovations, and our customers are trying to keep up with that. I think one of the reasons that we won that contract in the first place was because we used the Papyrus Business Designer. So this is what I mentioned earlier. That whole application was built with a business-focused tool, so they could define their business logic, their process, even the 2FA secure sign-in, their UIs and forms, which they did during that process, you know, alongside us, of course, which is great. But I think the really cool thing is when we're gone in a few weeks and everyone's happy and we've all drank a glass of champagne, they're going to continue to do that themselves. They don't need to come and say, hey, Rob, how much is it going to cost to fix this UI or change the coloring here or implement this new process? They're excited to take control of that themselves and reduce those costs after that go live moment and after that moment of truth.
Yes,
as Anna-Marie said.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that the front end is totally tightly integrated with the back office. No, you have all the back office caseworkers, and they all integrated with the customer front end.
Yeah. So they've got a team of people. They're not going away anywhere. They still need those people to execute these different processes. But they no longer have to spend, you know, hours in the call center waiting in line, and everyone's getting frustrated, and it takes 4 days to get a case solved when you've now got immediate access to that information.
I mean, they automated what was repetitive, of course. So not everything is manual anymore. So there's a lot of automation, but on the other hand, to serve the customer on a very individual basis, on a one-on-one, the knowledge work at the back office can make decisions. They can react to unforeseen situations. They can have ad hoc tasks that they initiate. So they are very agile and flexible, really serving the customer to the best experience, really.
So agility, innovation, customer focus, these are all things that are super important today. Would they be even possible to achieve without an approach such as yours, a low code approach? Would it be impossible to do otherwise?
What would you think?
I mean, nothing's impossible, Kevin.
No,
If you give me enough money and enough time and enough people, I can build anything in any language. You know, it's just a question of resources. But how long are you going to be able to use that for in the future? You know, and how much you're going to have to invest, not just to build that now, but to maintain it for the next 5 or 10 years. And that's really what we're trying to encourage our customers to think on. You know, we've a lot of quick changes in the last few years to patch things here and there, to kind of fill up gaps as those trends have emerged. But now's the time to consolidate those, put all those together into a basket and build those in a meaningful way into a consolidated platform that's going to last you 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And yeah, not just until tomorrow.
Well, and did you do any coding?
At
this project?
At this place, no. I mean, for the business,
no coding
design,
whatsoever.
No coding there. For the interfaces, of course, there's the technical part where we need to request data from the back end, and again, that's also part of our strategy, that we try to decouple that application from those surrounding systems in a safe way, that you can make changes in that application to those areas we mentioned without having to make changes to the back end there. So they have I think it's an old DB2 system, and it's fetching all the data there. But there's a link there that we configured on site with them in a few days to fetch the data and return responses there. And that's done, you know, as a technical aspect to the project, while then the bread and butter of that project is then executed by the business teams, where they're creating the UIs and the process.
Right. But the underlying platform is critical, no? Without it, you couldn't implement this set of cross-functional deliveries, right? These value streams that you implemented.
That's a good point. I didn't mention that, but of course, it's not just this one magic business designer tool, which you just plug in and install on your laptop, and you go ahead and you build these huge, wonderful applications. This is sitting on top of the web repository and all the features that we have in there. So the CCM and the output management capabilities, the process management capabilities, which come as part of the platform. And as we're configuring these applications and building them up, you take the business designer, and that kind of goes in and grabs the bits it needs from the platform. So it said, okay, give me that CCM piece, because that's for the documents that we're generating, and I need this output management piece to send out these emails, and I want perhaps an inbound piece then to read incoming mails, which they're also doing there. So you need that solid base of the platform, and then you provide that tool, which is very user friendly, to the business departments then to create those applications.
So no coding, a minimal amount of IT support. This is a different approach to business app development that we've had in the past. What's your advice for organizations culturally, organizationally, to make that change? I mean, who is responsible for what now? And what about just the corporate culture about how things have always been versus the way things are now?
Right, because these are, if I may answer this, these are fusion teams, right?
Yeah.
These are people that are today, typically they are business analysts or business administrators or operators, that can use this tool, this design tool, and that executes really the platform capabilities. And they can actually work and define this complete set of business value streams, a set of operational and functional capabilities, without needing to code. They don't need to program anything. I think that's the key in this scenario.
I think just to add to that a little,
Yeah.
so from the organizational perspective, you know, it doesn't just happen overnight either. It's not like we give the business design a tool and suddenly they have that organization in place to make agile changes. So you've got to have the will, you know, you need someone up above defining that strategy, saying, right, we're going to change the way we do things. And we're not going to rip everything up, but we want to be able to make small changes quickly and with zero risk. And if you've got the will, you can put that procedure in place. So change management, you know, who do we need to do that? We need someone to build it. We need someone to test it. We need someone to review it. We need someone to deploy it. And I need to make sure I've got my ducks in a row, as we say, and have them prepared to take part in that process, to collaborate in that process. And once you start seeing the benefits of having that procedure there, that quick time to market, that quick turnaround time, then those participants become more and more willing, and you start to get some wins from that strategy.
Our guests today are Anna-Marie Pucher, CEO of ICIS Papyrus Software. She is joined by Rob Brown, Senior Manager of Project Quality Assurance at Papyrus. Now, we have reached the action item round of the show. Anna-Marie and Rob, I'm wondering if you could please provide us with 3 quick action items that our listeners can do to take advantage of your ideas and advice.
Well, I think the total experience strategy, I would call it, is an important piece for customer experience. To think about it and to implement it and to think about fusion teams in this experience, and to use a ready software, you know, a platform, and rather than coding and existing tools, designers that we spoke about, and all of that will be helping and supporting these cross-functional deliveries really that are needed. Not, you know, the batching that we spoke about at the beginning, but really the end-to-end experience for the customer.
Right.
At least what I see.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that. And I would probably add as well, you know, I mean, this is something that we often talk about, to take those first steps can seem daunting, and it looks like it's too much, and you get paralyzed. You think, oh, we can't do this. And you know, I'm going on holiday in 5 months anyway, so why should we start? And the best approach is to identify those places that are causing the most grief, you know, identify those pain points and just list them out and say, look, here's my top 5. Right. And I bet that 2 or 3 of those we can probably have a good go at immediately. So what's going to provide the most impact for the lowest effort, the lowest cost? You know, you don't have to start with the most expensive bit, but find a piece that's causing you problems and solve that. And that's, you know, where I think we are very useful, because we can spend a lot of time at the beginning understanding those pain points and then proposing solutions for our customers. And yeah, that's always my second point.
And one last action item for our audience.
A connected experience for the customer and for the employee is very important. Right. To be implemented, a total experience, basically. Yeah, I think we have too many fragmented experiences today, where the customer doesn't know what the situation is and needs to ask 5 times maybe for information or for the status, and the employee as well, you know, is maybe not so happy with the transparency he or she has in the total aspect of the case. So I think the total connected experience and this integrated world with operations as well is really an important solution, I would say, for the moment of truth in customer experience.
Very good. That is Anna-Marie Pucher, CEO of Papyrus, along with Rob Brown, Senior Manager of Project Quality Assurance at Papyrus Software. Anna-Marie, Rob, it has been great speaking with you today. Thank you for being our guests on AIIM on Air.
Great to be here. Thank you, Kevin.